Hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome. Let us know where you're joining from. Yes. Good to see y'all. Yes. Come on in, folks. Good to see you. Good to see you. Come on in. Join us. Come on in. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Dana, Chelsea, Christine, Monica, Kenya, Tish. Good to see you. You're in the right place. We'll get started in a second. Come on in. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hello. Come on in, y'all. Hello. Come on in. Good to see y'all. Katie. Good to see you. Welcome. Come on in. Hi, Janet. Brittany. Got a lot of folks joining us. Come on in. Join us. Hello. Hi, Dawn. Hello. Luna. Hi. Welcome. Welcome. St. Louis is in the house. Excited about that. Hi, Gloria Shelton. Hello. Welcome. All right. So glad that you are here. Welcome. Welcome. All right. Welcome. Welcome. It is 1 o'clock. We're at the top of the hour. So we're going to get started. It's just about 1. We are going to get started in just a second. So glad that folks are here. Daisy from Texas. Hey, Daisy, embracing equity. She's here. All right, everybody. Let's get started. Let's get started. Welcome to this webinar, Real Talk, Real Action. And today we will be talking about Juneteenth. We thank you for your first action step that you're taking. And that was one of joining us in this space today. Now, whether you're live or will be watching the recording later, I want to extend a warm welcome to you. I'm going to kick this conversation off by introducing myself. I'm Dr. Nicole Evans. I serve as the Senior Director of Leadership at Embracing Equity, where we assist adults and organizations in their journeys of taking action and leaning deeper into their identities of becoming and building anti-racist organizations. Today, my two panelists who will be joining me, they're and myself, all three of us, we are calling in from the unceded territory of the Missouri, the Osage, and the Illinois Confederacy, also known as St. Louis, Missouri. So get ready to meet two brilliant educators who are passionate around this topic. So let's meet our first panelist, Dr. Deloach.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Danielle Deloach. After moving to St. Louis, I saw the disparity in the educational system and believed in my ability to promote life change. I started a career as a servant leader, and through public educational system, where I have served diligently in a multitude of capacities for over the last 23 years, I made sure to dedicate to all students. With my oath, I have never wavered from the commitment to advocate for the rights and the power, for the knowledge for every child to have it and to learn how to advocate for themselves. It brings me great pleasure to be here today. And as we explore deeper to the journey of Juneteenth.
Thank you. Welcome, Dr. Deloach. We have our next panelist, Miss
Oh,
Twyla Lee.
hello, hello, hello. My name is Miss Twyla Lee. I am an educator of 23 years and are currently serving in the capacity of assistant principal. I am also the founder of Bridge the Gap 314, Juneteenth STL, and the fourth annual Delwood Juneteenth Festival with the parade and community resource fair. I am excited to participate and join along in this conversation because we have some great jewels to drop.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm honored to be here with both of these panelists. So let's jump right into the conversation. Can you elaborate on the significance of the delayed emancipation that happened in Texas and its impact on our understanding of Juneteenth today? And I guess maybe to go a little bit deeper, I guess what I'm asking is what is Juneteenth and what should we understand about it and recognize about it in today's time here, 2024?
Well, thank you. I think that's a great way for us to start this conversation, making sure that everyone understands what Juneteenth is. So, Juneteenth is a significant holiday in American history, not Black history, American
Mm,
history. Good point
mm,
right there.
yeah.
So, um, it was the ending of slavery in the United States. Juneteenth is celebrated on June 19th. So it's Juneteenth. It commemorates the day in 1865 when Union General Granger arrived to Galveston, Texas, and he announced this General Order number 3, proclaiming the freedom of all enslaved people in Texas. This announcement came more than 2.5 years after
Mm,
President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which legally freed slaves in the Confederate States on January 1st, 1863. Now, there are 3 key points to share that are significant about this delay in emancipation. The geographical isolation.
mm,
Now, let's kind of visualize where Texas is. So here we are, and here's Texas. Texas was one of the most remote Confederate states, and news of the Emancipation Proclamation did not reach enslaved people there immediately.
mm-hmm.
The lack of the Union troops in Texas to enforce the proclamation contributed to the delay.
Okay.
And then when we think about the resistance by the slaveholders, many slaveholders in Texas resisted the enforcement of the emancipation because they needed to exploit the enslaved people's labor. They needed someone to do their work. It was even so bad that some people moved from other states to Texas to keep enslaved people so that they would do their work.
Wow.
Yes. Now, with these 2 points, we also have something that came out positive. We had a symbol of freedom.
Mm,
The announcement on June 19th, Juneteenth, 1865, symbolized the final end of slavery in the United States. For the newly freed people of Texas, this day became a powerful symbol of liberation and a cause for celebration and reflection.
wow. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've touched upon so many great topics and things that we need to think about and also reflect upon. Uh, but from my position or from perspective, I see the significance of the delayed emancipation happening pretty much kind of like you said, because those in power understood the power of bondage. They knew the power of having people uninformed and not connected. And it took for the General Granger, like you stated, to come in and say, hey, no, this is no more.
Right.
This should not be happening. You guys are free. You are free to connect. You are free to learn. Like
Mm,
had to the Freedman Bureau and all those things had to be created because the enslaved were still being treated as they were enslaved. So,
mm,
as a teacher and as everything that's important to me, making sure that my students are connected and see the relevance of it and all of that, helps us to not repeat this cycle of being uninformed. in bondage,
Yeah.
worked extra because we don't know. And that's why the Delwood Juneteenth Festival is so significant. I think it's successful because of the community organizations are there dropping a wealth of information, connecting people, and people feeling connected. And we have so much of this social media stuff. Like we say, oh, the phones have us distracted, but not on June 19th and not in the city of Delwood. People are laughing, they are talking, they are sharing information. And that is the spirit of Juneteenth that I love.
Love that.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. So, thank you for sharing that. And I dropped in the chat a little bit more information if you're thinking about wanting to learn more about Juneteenth. However, you both co authored an article, and that article was about your journey to Juneteenth. So, give us some highlights of the article. What was your individual's journeys to Juneteenth? And like, when did you learn about it? Did you learn about it in schools? Tell us about your journey overall. And I will drop the article here for those who might want to read it if they have not read it this morning. So yeah, what's your
Okay.
journey?
So I'll start. It was really strange to have this time to reflect on it. My first exposure to Juneteenth was in the early '90s. I was an adult.
Mm.
Yeah, it was when I was first stationed in Fort Sam Houston. So Fort Sam Houston is in Texas, and it's about 3.5 hours from Galveston, Texas. So not too far. There's a misconception that in Texas they didn't recognize the Juneteenth until it was a state holiday in 1980, but that wasn't true. As soon as they were freed, the ancestors started teaching and making sure that they celebrated this moment. So when I'm there, and it's June, and the Texans who are in the military with us are telling us about this upcoming event. And I'm like, okay, they're sharing stories about this huge holiday. And everybody's kind of nodding their head, like, okay, we get off the base. That's what counts. But June 19th approaches, and my imagination did not serve the culture and community celebration justice. The entire day was just packed with memories. There were cultural celebrations. Juneteenth had things that brought the community together with the military personnel telling stories, festivals, vibrant African American cultural expressions. We had the parades, music, food, just cheerful atmospheres. It was just the Jubilee. It was magnificent. It was truly magnificent. And all I kept saying is, this is out of the world. It was just something I couldn't have imagined. When you think about learning and experiencing Juneteenth firsthand, you think about the deep and personal connection to the holiday. Now, in education, and today I know we have a lot of educators with us, and I thank you for being here. We often talk about the death of knowledge and getting our scholars a chance to experience Death of Knowledge 4, which is learning beyond the classroom. I truly had the most authentic learning experience when I was at Fort Sam Houston, experiencing firsthand their celebration for Juneteenth. And the reason it was so significant is because of the personal connection. I was part of the celebration. I was there, which allowed me a personal connection to the history and the cultural significance. And then the oral tradition. I got to hear the stories from the ancestors and the human connection. And then the engagement. I felt so much a part of it. But then my only regret is that I didn't get this experience sooner in my life.
I think, Danielle, that's true for me. And I did not. I can recall learning about Juneteenth in my adult years as well. So I'm going to drop a question in the chat for the participants, for those who have joined us. When did you learn about Juneteenth? Talk to us. Put it in the chat. And as I reflect back, thinking about growing up in the 70s, right? As my formative years, my elementary school years, there were not many, or quite frankly, any celebrations or recognition of this day that, to your point, you so eloquently make, all Americans should be celebrating, right? All Americans. For so many of us Americans, we want to run away from the brutal history of enslaving Black folks, right? So what would make sense would be to celebrate that we legally, at least legally, ensured that this horrible institution was dismantled. So Juneteenth really should be celebrated by all. And so when I think about Juneteenth and my experience, I think about truth telling. Truth telling that often our country lacks around events, celebrations, and recognitions for those people who have been minoritized in the United States.
That's true. I think about when I came to St. Louis. I'm originally from Chicago and did my tour in Texas. I moved to St. Louis, and I didn't experience the joy and connection that I had in Texas. I just told you about the love, and it was just all through Texas. I get here, and I hadn't seen that overall understanding or acceptance or recognition to the Juneteenth holiday. The excitement had died down. Honestly, it died down in me too. I almost forgot about it. It's a shame when something so vibrant in my spirit for years. I was in Fort Sam, Houston for 6 years and looking forward to it every year. It was big, almost like Christmas. Here we come, here we come, here we come. And then I come to St. Louis, and just because someone else isn't doing it, I didn't keep it going. So shame on me. So honestly, I almost forgot about it. So years later, it's one Saturday morning. Actually, it's Saturday school, to be honest. I'm at Saturday school. I overheard this energetic, vibrant voice early on a Saturday morning describing an event being planned. And I'm like, what is this person talking about? And why is she so loud? And I still remember these phrases. I heard this person say, unparalleled opportunity to bring the community together. And I'm looking around, and I see students, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. I see adults, men and women, a demonstration of our commitment to a brighter future. I'm like, okay. Historical milestone. It's vibrant, tapestry of culture, resilience, progress, and it's like the passion, her voice. You could almost feel I was like, is this gonna be a sermon? I'm like, okay, let me walk closer. This person's getting excited. I want to hear it too. What are we planning? I'm walking closer. I want to participate, interweaving the threads of history with the aspirations of our future. We aim to create an event that would be both enlightening and inspiring. So now I'm there, I'm standing there, and I look up, and I'm like, wow, what are you planning? And she says, an event for everyone, something that everybody can participate in. She said, we will envision a gathering where hearts and minds are open. Together, we will celebrate an environment where all our heritages can rejoice from the bonds of our community. Until paves the way for the future filled with promise and possibility. And everyone from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders to the male and female adults, we looked at her amazed. And yes, that amazing voice was our panelist today, Miss Twyla Lee. I kept looking at her thinking, wow, it does exist. And Twyla was planning for the Juneteenth celebration for Delwood. She was empowering adults and kids about Juneteenth. She had molded in me how to do the same. I came back to St. Louis, and I allowed it to die in me. But she showed me what I should have been doing to keep it alive, like our ancestors wanted us to do. Now I better understand how to use my platform to educate not just the students that I'm blessed to be around, but adults that I get to have a chance to help ignite their passion.
And as thank you. I want to hear from Twyla, because you listen. It sounds like you had a sermon going on, but check out the comments when did you learn about Juneteenth? A couple of years ago, 2020. I didn't learn about it until a few years ago. The comments are an adult in my late 20s, in my 30s, in my 20s. Of course, we have some people who said they were raised by incredible Black women and they learned about it in elementary school, but 2019, 2020. So we're talking about many people here, just educators or just wanting to learn about this. Late in my adult life, I see it. Wow, I just see that so many people learned about it so late, and that was inspiring. So Twyla, come on, Twyla, come on, come
Well,
on.
I have to say thank you so much to Dr. Danielle. Sometimes when you do what you love, you don't even know it. And I apologize for being loud, but I'm excited about it. So, fortunately for me, my journey to Juneteenth hasn't really been a journey. I come from a long line of educators. My father, my mother, my grandmother, my great aunt. My grandmother went to school with Langston Hughes. My great aunt was taught by Dr. George Washington Carver. Every summer, I would be at the Diamond, Missouri, at the Carver House and all that. So when I tell you history and learning and activism has just been my life story. Fortunately, my parents, I was the only child, so my parents put me in private school. And I'm going to say that the Black Catholic community in the St. Louis area were ahead of the curve or in the line with the South or whatever we want to call it, because we did those things all through elementary school into my days at Cardinal Ritter College Prep. So throughout my life, it had been that way. But as a classroom teacher, it was hard for me. I didn't understand why my students didn't like it, why they weren't excited about it, and why they felt like it was so old. And I had to think about myself, just because I had been embedded in it all throughout my life. Because in elementary school, my dad was working on his PhD in African American Studies from St. Louis University. So that was always that. So community activism and just being the person that people need, or just being the help that people need, was just the way I was raised. So it was just quite natural for me to put my love for history, my love for community, my love for togetherness, my love to give back, my love to be the help that I needed for someone. It just, everything came together on God's plan, on his time. And with this year's theme being exceeding your ancestors' wildest dreams, in the midst of this, probably around 2014, I purchased a t-shirt because I just like, oh, that was so dope or whatever and all of that. And people really enjoyed it. And for that to connect back to this theme for 2014, I believe we are exceeding our ancestors' wildest dreams. Just think about, for 2 years, they were enslaved because they were not informed. They were not connected. And now we are informed. Now we are connected. We can share information in seconds. How powerful that is. So this with my Juneteenth, and just trying to show the powerfulness of togetherness, show the powerfulness of acknowledging past hurts, but saying we can do better. So that's what this Juneteenth is, an annual time for us to get back together, reflect on the past, say where we're going in the future. Where are we at? Be accountable to each other and say, hey, next year on June 19th, we're going to come back and assess and say, this is what we're doing. We were here, there. This is where we're at, because we are the hope. We are the change. We have to do it. We don't have to wait for the great savior. We are the saviors.
Absolutely.
I love it. Love it. All right. Come on. I love that.
Absolutely. It was that same passion that day. I love it.
Yes. So I want to harken back a little bit, just real quickly, to Danielle's regret, actually, of not learning about it sooner, right? Not her fault, not my fault. Same thing for me. I wish I had learned about it sooner. And so I'm thinking right now, as an educator, about the responsibility of schools in teaching about Juneteenth. It was absent for me. So if we're asking schools to teach about this now federally recognized holiday, What are some effective strategies for integrating Juneteenth into the school curricular to promote a more inclusive understanding of not just Black history, but American history? You all make that point so well. What do we do?
Yeah, absolutely. Learning about Juneteenth is significant for education for our students. And even though Juneteenth falls over the official summer break, it's a historical part of our history. And it's important that we come up with ways to engage our students in the learning and appreciation of Juneteenth. Now, the particular school district that Twyla and I work for, they are amazing with their DEI. They have taken it upon themselves to revamp um, all our curriculums and add different components so that they have a chance to make sure that we are always exploring deeper who our students are in front of us.
Awesome.
But today I want to talk about just some other things people can do. You can read a book in articles. For example, one book that is quite friendly is Juneteenth for Mazzy by Floyd Cooper. It's a very child-friendly book, and there's tons of them. Kids love books, regardless of the age. They have picture books, coloring books.
Yeah.
Kids like books, and they like books that resemble them.
Mm.
Number two, we can watch a video. What do they love most? Their Chromebooks. Right. Let them watch Juneteenth, Faith and Freedom. It's streaming on YouTube. You know, and there's cartoons of it. There's animation of it. There's games of it. There's various ways you can engage them. One of my favorite is to visit the museum. There's always ways to take them through and let them see what's going on. There's virtual tours on the museum. Actually, Miss Lee, you're going to be at the museum. What is that? June 11th. So please, on June 11th, Twyla, Miss Lee will be there presenting. You can take them there. And one place that never fails is church. Our churches are always our center point in our culture. We can always go back home, and they're always willing to bring us back in, celebrate. They are always willing to educate us. And what's most important is teach the concept and allow the child to have a voice in how they do it. Students enjoy expression. So as long as they're being exposed, that's what's most important. Yeah. And that they understand the importance to Juneteenth. And so I'd just like to take a moment, because I know we have lots of educators here and lots of people with children, and maybe they can put in the chat ways that they have exposed their students or their children to learning about Juneteenth, or ways they plan to. And that way we're sharing this information today. Please share with us.
So Dr. Danielle, you've touched upon so many things. As an educator, for me, embracing it into or integrating it into the school systems or whatever, through my Juneteenth and Bridge the Gap, we started the inaugural Juneteenth art and oratory contest, which will award winners from third grade up to the senior citizen. The winners will be announced on June the 19th at the Delwood celebration, and we're giving out cash prizes for that or whatever and all of that. Also, a walking museum is a new attraction that we added to the Delwood Festival to teach the story of Juneteenth and to bring it up into modern Juneteenth. So actually at the History Museum, I will be speaking about modern Juneteenth celebrations. Largely because the way that I shaped the Delwood Festival as a community resource fair, but use the vendor pop-up model or whatever, it just opened it up for so many people to join in. So that's with the education. We're out there that day from 12 to 9. The parade, even kids and people seeing a parade, like that's going to spark the conversation. What is Juneteenth?
Yeah.
So those are easy ways, and I guess you all can see the educator in me. That's also me coming from the alternative setting, also to where you have to chunk. So I feel like that day is like a chunking activity or whatever. We got a little of everything's going on. So even if you're not engaged, you're hearing something because the DJ is announcing stuff. People are really talking to each other. So and that's why the when I started planning the first one in 2021, at that time, my business partner was like, I'm confused. I say, no, we want everyone. We want to invite everyone. We want to have something for everyone because people start saying it's only for this. Even this year, I had vendors and organizations come up to me and say, well, we're not Black. And I'm like, you don't have to be. It's an American holiday. It's for all of
Yes.
us to come
American holiday.
and to integrate the culture, you know what I'm saying? Like so many times American history and African American history is taught independently when it should be taught in harmony. So I feel like my Delwood Juneteenth Festival is in harmony for the community, in harmony to bring us together, in harmony to learn, in harmony to learn from my
Come
past
on.
hurts. But
Come
we are
on.
in harmony, you know. So that's what the goal of it is.
I love
I
it.
love that. In
I love
harmony.
it.
I love
I
that.
love
I
it.
love it.
Love it. Here's what I would say for those of you who are not from St. Louis. You hear Twyla talking about this will happen in Delwood. So the city of St. Louis is sort of here, and there are over 50 close municipalities. Another way to divide. And so, right in St. Louis, maybe 5-10 minutes is the municipality of Delwood, Ferguson, and many other places. So, Delwood is right next to Ferguson, where Michael Brown Jr. was killed. And so, very, very close. So if you hear Delwood, if you're not from here, we are still really talking about St. Louis, Missouri. So that's something I wanted to lift up for those who are not local to St. Louis. However, we're going to get a little bit more into some of the specific activities. What it sounds like to me, it sounds like some of y'all need to be coming here. Take a road trip, come to St. Louis and celebrate Juneteenth with us. Here or at your local places. So, Danielle, I think, no, Twyla, you mentioned this earlier, but I want to go back to it. Some people might not be aware that every year Juneteenth has a national theme. You mentioned it before, but let's talk about that a little bit more. What is the theme for 2024?
Well, the 2024 National Juneteenth theme is their wildest dreams. And each year it changes. So, and it's as we become more familiar with Juneteenth, this anticipation for this theme. So this year it pops up. It's the wildest dreams. It's a powerful tribute to the intertwines of the rich history of African American ancestors with the remarkable achievements of today. Now, this theme serves as a reminder of the enduring spirit of resilience of those who fought for freedom and equality.
Yes.
It acknowledges the struggles and sacrifices of past generations while celebrating the progress and success realized in our contemporary times. And by honoring the dreams and aspirations of our ancestors, the theme emphasizes the importance of remembering history and recognizing how far our community has come. And we still have a ways to go, but it's important to recognize that we are not where we used to be. We may not be where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be.
Love that. Love
yes,
that.
it highlights the achievements in various fields such as education, yes, arts, science, politics, and social justice, showcasing the fulfillment of dreams that once seemed impossible. There was a time when it was almost impossible to become an educator, a scientist, on a Supreme Court justice. And all those strides have been made. We may not be where we want to be, but we are a lot further than where we used to be. But what I love about this year's theme is it encourages reflection of the journey from the emancipation of the enslaved African Americans to the present day. It's inspiring current and future generations to continue to strive for excellence and
Yes.
equity. It underscores the significance of Juneteenth. It's not just a commemoration of the end of slavery, but it's also a celebration of cultural heritage, resilience, and the ongoing pursuit of justice and equity. And that's what we have to
Love,
remember. And this is
love that.
something I want to add, because I been in education 22 years, and we know we started hearing about equality and equity. And it was you, Dr. Nicole, that helped me frame equality and equity so well, because you said equality is here, then y'all give you a shoe. Equity is I'm going to make sure it's a shoe that fits you. I was like, why didn't somebody explain it to me that way sooner?
Yes.
Thank you. And that's what they're doing for us. Thank you.
Yeah. Twyla, you as you talked earlier, you've done a lot of legwork with the Juneteenth festival that's coming up. For those who are here in St. Louis, you've done it through your organization that you created, Bridge the Gap 314. What can we expect? And how will you honor the theme? What can we expect?
Well, if we can drop the link where they can see what they can expect from the video from last year, where we can have the reclip. And as I said earlier, we have something to do for everyone.
Okay.
And we have the parade that starts off at 12. We have the outdoor skating rink where you can skate. We'll have the DJ that's going on. We'll have
Now
voter
wait, before you go past that really quickly, you're saying skating. Why is
skating.
that why is that important?
Well, skating is so important because it's really like almost like a cornerstone of the African American community. And
Yes.
also, Skate King is one of the oldest skating rinks in the country with a hardwood floor, along with St. Nicholas as well. So skating and that's really kind of the culture, the way that the St. Louis style skating, Midwest is different. Skate life and all that videos it. And also there is a national push to try to get skating added to the Olympics. So that
Wow.
is another thing that we're trying bringing
Yeah.
the skating in to help with that push to get skating into the Olympics. We'll also have the ACLU will be joining us doing an expungement forum. So they'll have attorneys there that will help individuals fill out the paperwork for expungement. Like I said, voter registration. We'll have the Red Cross there doing a blood drive because sickle cell is a ill of the African American community. So they're going to be doing education on that. Children's Hospital will be there doing medical screening, asthma, vision and hearing. St. Louis County via the Delwood Pharmacy will be providing vaccinations. BJC and the Siteman van will be there with mammograms. We'll also in negotiations with the Fannie Lou Hammer organizations to do a Black home ownership forum as well, because
Wow.
that's what keeps our community strong, homeowners, and also our schools strong, keeping the property tax. We're also having a state of us school panel discussion where we have three of the local school superintendents going to tell us
Wow.
how can we help the districts. Not what I notice is being an educator, you have a ton of organizations say, this is what I want to do, but their program necessarily is not what's best to work with what the district need. And with school confined, so many times organizations come in and we're scrapping to fit the school schedule to work with them versus them fitting to work with us and our children. So that's another thing that I like for the superintendents to get that out, how to support the schools in the best way. Also, we'll have tons of free activities, especially for the youth, inflatables, a gaming truck, face painting, a arts and
Wow.
craft table. We're going to end the night at 9 o'clock with the Dirty Mugs performing and a fireworks show because this is the emancipation. So we want Juneteenth to be just as equal as the 4th of July in July, in July. So
Beautiful.
this is the goal. This is what we're trying to do. We always want partners. And I noticed in the chat that we dropped the link to Bridge the Gap 314 website, but not the one for the video. It's kind of up some. But
Okay.
yeah,
Let me
that's
find
that.
it.
And the people can actually see the energy and feel the energy. We're also going to have a group that's leading the electric slide, and we're going to try to do an aerial photo to see if we can win the Guinness Book World Record for the largest line dancing. So it's always fun, and I always want fun activities to go. So to keep you there and engaged, we'll have visitors there, sharing information, some selling creative one of a kind goods. It's just a real I tell people it's like a big family reunion, or you want to say it's a big block party. Those of you that if you're afraid that you have to walk far, we have golf carts. We have a company that's going to transport you to get you to the rec center from your car. We're going to have security and everything. We want everyone out to just celebrate and learn and become a community of one, you know?
Yes, I love the fact that you're saying
Beautiful.
both and. You're saying celebrate and learn. Carrie in the chat mentioned, when taking her children to the Juneteenth events, people didn't, some people were saying they didn't know, they didn't remember, right? And just focusing on maybe just the celebration part of it. But don't forget the learning. And to your point, it really just made me think of a decision that my family made. My family made a decision 2 years ago that we were actually going to celebrate Juneteenth and make that super, super big. Right now, I have decorations. I have a banner. I'm looking to the side because I can see it out of the window. I have a banner that says Juneteenth. We have decorations, and we do fireworks that day. It is freedom for our people. And so we want people to know that this should be a big celebration too. So now I'm excited knowing we have a place to go to where other folks are doing this. But on that day when my family gathers, we not only decorate the house, we not only eat together, we not only recognize, the importance of the color red as we're talking about Juneteenth, research that. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to find out why is red important to Juneteenth. And if somebody knows, besides the panelists, drop it in the chat. Why is red important? And we stop for a moment right before we start with the fireworks, and we ensure that all of our children are standing around, and we talk about why we are here today, not only to eat and to celebrate and to connect, but we talk about the importance of Juneteenth to both our folks, Black folks, and everybody in this country. So that's something that we do. And so that's the call to action that my family personally takes. And now we're adding to going to the celebration that Miss Lee has started, that we're going to add that to our celebration. So,
Dr. Nicole, can I
yes.
interject something? I
Yeah.
forgot to mention the day before on Tuesday, June the 18th, in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, we're doing a State of Us Teen Summit where our youth are going to talk to us about their concerns and how we can support them. And like we know that the fighting in schools and the social media is kind of really hot. So they're going to give us some insight to solve that. And that is a free community event as well at the Boys and Girls Club Ferguson.
Love it.
That's major. Oh, wow. That's
Love it.
excellent.
Excellent. So now, as we begin to wrap this, I could talk about this forever and ever with y'all, so passionate and inspiring, but let's offer a call to action to our listeners and to our viewers. Here's some call to actions that I'm going to make. The first one is make Juneteenth a day on instead of a day off, whether that's sharing the oral tradition, whether that's recognizing it in some kind of way. Make sure that your family knows that this is an important day in American history. If you have not done so, we've already dropped the link, but we'll drop it again. Read the article. Read the article that Dr. Danielle and Twyla wrote. It is so moving, important,
Thank
and
you.
just amazing, brilliant. It is really brilliant. So I'm gonna drop that in the chat right now so that folks have access to it. Read that article, y'all. You will not be disappointed. The other call to action that I will give, and I'm going to ask the panelists to give their calls to action too, is we've hinted at it. Empower our youth, empower yourself. Make this a day and a time of empowerment. And again, the educator in me won't let me move from this. Teach. Teach any
Teach.
and everybody that comes in contact with you about Juneteenth. All right, Dr. Danielle, what's your call to action for the folks on the call or who will be tuning in later?
Absolutely. And I've given this a lot of thought as we prepared for today. I want to say there is a lot of historical significance to Juneteenth.
Yes.
And I hope that you here feel it and you understand it. So you recognize Juneteenth as a pivotal moment in American history. So we're going to embrace the cultural celebration, and we're going to celebrate the rich cultural heritage and the contributions that African Americans have made. Again, educate, the value of education, using the day to educate oneself and others about the history of being enslaved, emancipation, and the civil rights, because we all know that knowledge is power.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
continue reverence. Reflect on the progress made since the emancipation and acknowledge the work is still needed to achieve true equity and justice. And community engagement. Participate in and support. We've been hearing that there are a lot of Juneteenth events, and we're going to promote them. We're going to share in them, and just this will build our community, and we need our community to get stronger. We see too many things happening that
Yes.
need to stop, and they can stop by us coming together. So
Yeah.
by understanding these aspects, we can appreciate Juneteenth not only as a historical event, but as a vital part on an ongoing journey toward equity and justice in America.
I love that. Twyla, what's your call to action? I think I know, but I want to hear it.
My call to action is, first off, just get involved, be informed,
Mm.
and be connected. And
Mm.
if you want to connect with me, of course, come on, connect with Bridge the Gap, connect with Juneteenth STL, connect with the Delwood Juneteenth Festival, all of those things. There are opportunities. I'm seeing in the chat people want to be involved. Email me. I dropped my email in the chat, and that's that. We have some different things going on. If you're a school leader or a teacher and all of that, the contest information for the art and oratory is located on Bridge the Gap 314 website. You go to the drop down from Juneteenth STL and you can find it there. If you want to help, you want to be on the Juneteenth planning committee for next year, email me. If you have any ideas of something that you want to help me, you want me to help you bring it to life, email me. So come to any Juneteenth event. Also on Bridge to Gap 314, more of the partner events, the people that ask me to post their flyers will be added to that website. So there's going to be so many things that you all can do in St. Louis and around St. Louis for Juneteenth.
Wow, this
Love it.
is so amazing. So I want to give our I want to first really thank our panelists for coming today and sharing all this information, their perspectives, the history of Juneteenth and what we should know about it. And so what I've dropped in the chat is if you want to stay in contact with these amazing panelists, because they will talk about this and more all day long. There's, as you can see, the passion that they brought, so would I. So make sure you stay connected. We want to just take a pause though. Are there any questions from our participants? If you have any questions or statements or anything that you want to ask these panelists, would you please drop it in the chat right now? We'll just take a moment. We have a little bit more time. We have some time to do that. Um, we have time. If anybody, thank you. A lot of thank yous. Any questions for the panelists? And has anybody answered my question yet? Why is red important for Juneteenth? Not the panelists. Don't you?
Not the panelist.
Right. Any questions for us? Any questions? Yeah, Monica. Yeah. 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 Monica, I feel you. I'm saddened that I only recently learned about it and wonder what else have I not learned about? Yeah, I talked about that. This country's history of not having truth telling around, you know, people of color and marginalized groups is something that we've got to dismantle. Yes, Kenya, red is for the drink. Trey, the blood. Yes, Muna or Munya. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly.
Muna.
Muna, okay, represents bloodshed. Yes, paying homage to those that died during the slave trade. Yes, yes. See, y'all know some things already. Well, we will thank you all so much. I thank you to my amazing, brilliant panelists. Before we go, I want you to know that Embracing Equity does free webinars all the time about topics related to equity. And so I'm dropping in the link for you to sign up for any webinar. And if you can't attend at the very time that they are being promoted, we will definitely send you the tape. Remember the recording. Sorry, I'm dating myself, I guess. When I said the tape, we'll send you the recording. And then, oh, the name of the books mentioned earlier. All right, will one of you all drop those down in the chat for us? Yes, we definitely Juneteenth for Maisie. I think it's one of them. I dropped it earlier, but we can find it and drop them there for you. Um, yeah, letters of empowerment. Yes, thank you. If you want to work with Embracing Equity or have Embracing Equity work with you, sign up for a free consultation with us. We will listen to you and see what help assistance you might need. If you want to connect with me, I offer equity centered coaching. There it is. Come talk to me. I'll give you a free coaching session. So again, we thank you for joining us. Check out all the resources in the chat. And until next time, thank you for joining us in this episode of Real Talk, Real Action. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.